Welcome back to another Black City Coffee vlog. What we're going to do is roast some samples of the new decaf that we got yesterday from Honduras. Organic mountain water process, or decaffeinating process. You know what's nice about this mountain water on smelling the green versus smelling the green of the ethyl acetate, right? Like, the ethyl acetate does have something not organic about it or not tasty about it when you smell it. But when you smell this mountain water one, it smells very sweet, and it's almost like a piece of bread that you just cut. So that's nice. That's another difference. It's interesting. I don't want to de-appetize you, but it's kind of like a cleaning agent. A nice smelling cleaning agent. There's like a lemon-y, citrusy, fresh like thing. But it's not as appetizing as like that piece of bread. The reason why I didn't get the EA one again, I think I explained this in another video, was because it just scored a whole point higher, and it was organic, and it's supposed to be less caffeine. Now, Hasea does not confirm how much caffeine free each one of the decafs are. I'm not a big fan of the Mexico decaf because I feel like I can't get a lot of acidity in that cup when I roast it, or what's probably more accurate is that I don't roast it well. So I roast the EA Colombian decaf well enough, I think, that I like it, and I like the flavors that I can get out of there. And so now I'm gonna come back again to roasting this mountain water. I have roasted it before. It was probably a different year, a different vintage, basically, or a different harvest. That was a while ago, and I only ordered about 5 pounds of that. So this is the first time I'm ordering a full 20 kilo bag. So this is my first time actually really running it through its paces, and I'm probably going to get a lot more experience with it this time. And I'm excited about it because I've really committed to cutting down my caffeine. I only drink 1 cup a day in the morning. That's it. So I know I'm going to be drinking a lot more decaf in the future. And it's exciting because I just have this new sort of like perspective. Again, I always loved decaf when I discovered it in this way. So let's head out to the roaster. So I like to be out here by the roaster, even though I'm just roasting my samples, right? Because I like to use the cooling tray. And I will also take measurement of how much moisture loss I got, or weight loss I got. It's not really moisture loss. Weight loss. Alright, we are preheating right now. And when the sound changes, I'll know to add, or I'll know to charge. And we're doing a light roast at a medium development, according to Ikawa's app. See that sound change? Alright, now we wait. Isn't that dope? If you're gonna do samples a lot, like, get something that roasts samples. Yeah. You don't need to as a home roaster, but, you know, I just use the tools that I have. It's hard roasting samples here. It's totally possible, but, I don't know, time suck. And this one I just press a button and it gets me close enough there and some semblance of control. Or just get roasted samples from your green supplier. light roast. All right, let's cool them down. Bone cold. Yeah. Okay. So we got 89 grams out of 100 grams. Welcome back. We're back at the desk now. Cupped. Cupped and noted. Okay, so here's all the info. So roasted on the Ikawa, sample cupping, not production cupping, okay? So what we're going to do, like typically what I try to do when I get a new coffee in, like we have our Honduras organic single origin decaf versus our EA process or sugarcane process, ethyl acetate process decaf from Colombia, also single origin, okay? And I've been like a big fan of the EA sugarcane process from Colombia for a very long time. I just always bought it. Now that I'm very concerned about my caffeine intake, I was like, hey, I'm always looking for the best one I can get at a decaf. And we have really good decafs nowadays. So in order, somebody asked me in the DMs, is there a trick to roasting decaf? So we don't know exactly how this roasts in production yet. So for me, my production means 1 kg machine. For another person, it could be 26 kg machine, right? So for me, that's my production. Because we're going from an Ikawa, which is a 100-gram sample, and then going to go to a 1,000-gram batch size. So here's the data, and what we're going to try to do with this data is go, okay, so what are we taking with us when we try to profile it for production? All right, so here's my cupping right here. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I usually go in this order. We start over here on this side of the table and then go down. Here are my notes from my sample on the Ikawa and their weight loss. So the first one, which was this one, weight loss was 13%. I did a medium roast and development time adjustment. EA2, which is our current coffee right now, medium high. So you can see here, you can choose light, medium, or dark, to light, medium, medium, dark, to low, to medium, to high, okay? So I did that one, and I got a 13% weight loss. And then for the mountain water, honey processed, that's moving over to this third one right here. We did a medium high for 14%. Next one is a medium for 12%, so a little bit more. The weight loss number kind of equals to me what I recognize as, say, like a light kind of roast. So that was number 4. That was this one, and it did taste on the lighter side to me. And then to the light medium, so like a consciously light roasted light medium, which is right here for the last one, okay? And you can definitely tell in the color too in the cup. Now, when we look at this curve, this roast curve, it definitely doesn't look like anything that we're sort of used to in terms of like RoastPath or Artisan or Cropster, right? We get this weird sort of thing. But what we can delineate from this is just look at here the roast stages after we choose, our roast degree and our development time. I'm not really looking at this too much. It might be, if you're a numbers person, that might be relevant to you. But I think sort of visually, you can just see how the middle is sort of longer than, say, the end, right? So versus, like, say, this one, everything kind of looks similar or the same. And that's a more, aka balanced, medium. This is more of a light, more lively, they'll say. They use these words, a lively, acidic roast. And that's what we can gather visually from here. Now, if we look at the numbers here in the roast stages, it's weird that they don't put anything here for drying. I guess because they just call this drying. right? This is why it's confusing for people to learn roasting, because everybody uses a little bit different nomenclature when naming certain things, and so it can get confusing, but stick with us here. So yellowing, we'll call that green to yellow transition, or dry end, the end of drying, at a minute 30. Now usually when you're roasting in production, we maybe call this turning point. So a little different, but you know why? It's because the batch size is smaller, right? It's not roasting the same way as it is like a conventional drum roaster. This just, you know, hang in there with these sort of terms and the way that they name stuff, and it's kind of maybe doesn't match up to what you would like, but whatever. Okay, what we're trying to do is just distill the relevant information or data, and take that into production, like I mentioned. Okay, so yeah, and then we cool it down. And I take the extra step of cooling it down in my cooling tray because I want to lock in, especially if I'm trying to go for a light roast. I know that the cooling of the cacao is not very good. You know, it's not very complete, or it's not efficient. So I have a cooling tray. I'm going to use it. That way I can sort of get closer to a light roast on this very, like, you know, not so accurate machine in terms of creating light roast, because you have that residual reverberating heat throughout the beans. If you don't cool it down quick enough, right, it would just keep on quote unquote roasting in a way. Here's the medium version, and I liked both of these on the cupping table. You'll see this. I go, this is okay, number 3. It's like a balanced, maybe not as exciting. I like these 4 and 5, which was these two. This is number 4. This is number 5. And the flavors that I got for number 4, which is this one, is vanilla, medium, baked goods, cinnamon. I think a solid crowd pleaser, and I think more people in general would like this, especially if you pass it through a filter, like a pour over or something like that, or a drip machine. It's going to filter out some of that body, so I don't want it to be, if I want people to end up tasting this sort of stuff, vanilla, medium, baked goods, cinnamon, I want that to be retained after they've brewed it, after they've extracted it. And I have to also be mindful that not everybody uses the best water that they can use to brew. They could be using tap, or they could be using straight up RO water, like I do at home. They could be using a bad, or not the most consistent grinder, right? Things like that. So I want to retain as much flavor at the end for them, and I'm trying to keep that in mind as I'm choosing how to profile this coffee later. And then number 5, which is this one, light medium. So this would be like a very true light roast. I got cinnamon on the break, so breaking the grounds, and that was different from all the rest, which was just like I always get, grape nuts on the break. And this is, by the way, about 8 minutes after break. So I'm tasting it 8 minutes after I broke in the grounds and like cleaned it and everything, right? And then I've got raisin bread, big raisin bread note, just like that morning breakfast raisin bread, butter on toast sort of vibe. Subtle sweetness, so not too sweet, but I could see it. Hopefully, I'm gonna cup it again tomorrow. Hopefully, and I'm gonna just kind of run it through its paces and see how it tastes in different brew methods and stuff. Hopefully, it gets sweeter, and it has like a gentle sweetness. Oh, cool! Wow, that is nifty. This is an image, and I can highlight the word. That's crazy. That's technology. Okay, bourbon and like sort of orange zest on the second pass. So it started to get a lot more exciting and a lot more interesting as a light roast, and something I would be particularly interested in as somebody who's crazy about light roasts and likes interesting things going on, a sort of dynamic cup. So that, I like that personally, and I think I will definitely, when I put it on the site, I'll have a way to offer that. So for those who are down for a light roast and for a decaf and want something a little bit more interesting and not just be like, oh yeah, it's balanced, it's good. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Sometimes you just want a good, balanced, sweet cup of coffee, decaf, you know, like that's most of everybody. And me too, for a lot of the time. But yeah, I'll definitely have those two versions. And then I guess number 3 is like, it's like a dark version, but I don't think I would profile. I don't think I would take any data from here in terms of profiling for medium dark. I would just take it all the way to dark, and I wouldn't need to sample that. I would just take it all the way to dark, develop the middle, develop the end, as I normally would, based on what I see at the roaster, and I think I'd be okay with that. Because I think if somebody were looking for a dark roast for a decaf, they wouldn't want this sort of like in between. It's okay. It's like doesn't know where it wants to be. You know, this sort of like, it is more balanced like of the last two, but I think I would just try to make it as syrupy and as dark and dark chocolate as possible, and then just go there. You know, I don't want to be like 1 foot over here, 1 foot over there, and then try to call that medium dark. No, I think nobody would be interested in that. So, yeah, that was super interesting. And 4, 5, the weight loss that we got here, I don't think I continued. The light medium one, so this is something, you know, the weight loss I think is interesting to take into production, because this is a number I think that we can kind of parallel pretty close to. So when I do a production roast of this for the first time, I'll be aiming to get around 11% of weight loss, so that I stay within the kind of like parameters of this light roast that I liked, you know. And then for the one that I like for everybody else, the medium, which is right here, medium, we got a 12%. So they're right there, right next to each other. And when I go over here to like 14%, I was like not too excited about it. And that's why I said I'll just take it. I will go like 15%, 16% in terms of weight loss and roast degree when I take it to production. But I don't need to go there with the samples and stuff. So here, this is me just going like, how light do I want to go, right? And what differences are there? Definitely when I was tasting these EAs, I was kind of sad to say this, but my honest opinion is there's something medicinal about it now. There's something overly fermented about it now, and I pick it up like crazy. And I think that's definitely a reason why this scores better than that. And it's even like, I'm not a professional, so it's even like a turn off for me. And I think too, because it's older. Now, this coffee is not the freshest either, right? So we're going to take that in consideration when I price it. It's probably going to be, it's almost like 2 years old. And I think it still tastes good. I do not taste any hint of like paper bag and for me, typical old coffee flavor notes or anything defect about it. But I will take that into consideration when I price it out. It's probably going to be like a 16 or a 17 price point for me. I think that makes sense. And yeah, I don't know if that matters to you, but I'm just, that's all the things I think about, you know, when I'm like, I get a new coffee in, what are we going to call it? How are we going to price it? What makes sense? But yeah, the crop is about 2 years old now. Harvested December 2021. So, you know, we're right there. 2022. It's just about 2 years old. Yeah, you know, we're almost there to December. Not quite 2 years, but almost there. So I'm not tasting any defect. I think it tastes good. I really like it. It's a gentle sweetness, and after reading that article about making sweetness the number one thing, I'm going to try to make that my focus for this coffee and just bring more of that. It's already bready, sweet bready, like a sweet bread, if you ever go to 85 degrees here, it's a big hit over here, Asian, Taiwanese bread, pastry, a lot of sweet breads. It tastes like that. So it has those notes. I'm just afraid of, with this, if I focus on a light medium, the one that I like, after it passes through an espresso, like, is it going to be too light, too acidic? If it passes through a pour over filter, is it going to be too thin? I want some body, I want texture, I want to feel like I'm drinking coffee, not tea. So those are the things I'm going to be thinking about as I move into profiling. And when I nail it, then I'll put it up on the site and make the announcement and all that stuff. But yeah, keep a lookout for cool, good decafs. But these are the things that I look at when I'm approaching a decaf in particular that is new. And yeah, so I hope that helps get your wheels turning, and to roast some decaf and to get your hands on some and get some experience there. Because yeah, we're not going to get a lot of experience roasting decaf. I think just it's not mainstream yet, like this type of decaf. And in order to make, I think the trick with roasting good decaf is first to find good quality decaf. So we're talking fresh, year or 2 years. I feel like that's okay to just start there. Specialty grade. The scores that you're going to see are going to be most likely under 85 points. So just curb your expectations. Go gentle with it. If you don't have a sample roaster, go gentle with it, or just have a very like sort of gentle approach and try to stretch out sweetness where you can, and be gentle with it. It's decaf. It's not going to have a lot of matter for you to roast until it goes too dark, or you roast out all of its nuance that you paid for. Okay, so yeah, good things. See you in the next one.